We got the Packers versus Washington. Man, this is going to be, I think, another close game. You know, Washington came out the gate just fuming against the Bills. Jaden Daniels looks like he hasn't taken a step back. You know, some things could be better, but I think it's just week one rust for everybody. You know, and the Packers defense looked really good. Lucas Van Ness came out of nowhere and it's just like, hey, you going to try to replace me with Micah Parsons? They moved him inside and he's starting to get involved. And Micah's like, he wants him to do well too. But at the end of the day, me and Don picked the Packers to win this game. I think the wide receivers, you know, Christian Watson just got an extension, which why? I don't understand that. But it's not the fact that I don't like Washington. I think that their depth is a little bit of an issue. 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗓 do people really believe in this kid? I know he's getting a lot of hype. I know he only played a couple games. I know he had a great Shrine Bowl. But are people really that involved with that yet versus the Josh Jacobs and the plethora of receivers and that defense that the Packers have? I don't know. I think this is a close game, though. I think Jaden Daniels still does Jaden Daniels stuff. And maybe, you know, Bobby Wagner gets a million tackles. Who knows? But the Packers win this game. I think home field advantage is a real thing here as well. Indianapolis and the Broncos, man. I almost picked this as game of the week because, you know, happy to see my boy Daniel Jones take full advantage of being on such a better team. I know Jonathan Taylor's battling some injuries right now. That dude just can't stay healthy. But I do want to see a couple of those other running backs get more involved in, you know, the DJ Giddens of the world and those guys. But I think the misconception about Bo Nix had this horrible week because he threw 2 interceptions and fumbled is kind of overblown at this point and really starting to piss me off, to be completely honest with you. Like, the film wasn't that bad. I think at the end of the day, Bo is going to take the bull by the horns. And look, you got guys like Kurt Warner and the rest of these guys coming out and saying, like, how many different schemes did they line up for, you know, for Bo Nix? Like, he was frustrated with a lot of it. Like, how many formations are you going to align out of? I think they cleaned that up this week. Their defense played awesome. I think Patrick Surtain and Riley Moss, especially Riley Moss, had himself a week, man, that nobody's talking about. I don't know what his PFF score is. They probably got it wrong anyways, but that dude was playing out of his mind. I think the Colts defense holds them back in this game slightly. But I think this is a good game. And I think the Colts actually come out of here and they prove the same thing that the Jets proved in their first week. Like, we're going to keep this a close game. Daniel Jones is going to be good. Jonathan Taylor may get his. We might see a little bit of DJ Giddens. Tyler Warren's looking otherworldly for them, which is, I told everybody that Daniel Jones is going to utilize the tight end when it's there, and look what happened. It's the most important position on the field for a guy that's trying to have a comeback. But I think Bo Nix just has a couple, has a couple more plays on the board and gets them over the hump. But I think Indianapolis is still going to be excited about their team for sure. Travarius Ward is out with a concussion as well. So, thanks for that information. I didn't know that Travarius Ward was out. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's still a close game. So me and Don both picked the Broncos in that matchup. Then we got the Vikings versus the Falcons. Look, is everybody hyped off of J.J. McCarthy? Yeah, I think everybody that was big J.J. McCarthy fans are feeling themselves right now. They got the big Vikings hat on. They got the J.J. McCarthy jerseys. They got the skull tattoos. But look, I think the Atlanta Falcons are here to ruin their day. All that stuff that was being done on defense may confuse Michael Penix Jr. for a little bit, but how can you stop a guy like Bijan Robinson in the passing game? He was fantastic. I see what they're trying to do with Tyler Algier as well, getting him more involved in the game, which I thought was fantastic as well. But to be completely honest with you, Drake London is going to be healthy for this game. They're actually expecting him back. He got injured during the last game, and I think Kyle Pitts really gets more involved in this defense or in this offense as well. Look, a lot of people like Minnesota. Do I think it's a first game hype? Maybe. Are the Bears really that good? Who knows? But the Falcons pull this one out. They do. And I don't think it's close. I think Michael Penix Jr. may throw 4 touchdowns in this game. I actually did predict something right about the game of the week last week. I forgot what it was. Somebody in the comment section called it out, which was crazy. But hey, hopefully we keep on with the predictions here, getting at least one thing right a week. The Raiders versus the Chargers. Yeah. I think the Raiders get absolutely donkey punched by the Chargers. Look, the Chargers look good, man. Everybody keeps saying with these running backs that a lot of them look like bust. I think it's just a matter of time before a lot of these guys start to get going, and I think it's more so with Omarion Hampton. If you go and watch the film on Omarion Hampton, he actually looked pretty fantastic at running back. And I think this is ultimately what's going to help out that Chargers offense and keep Justin Herbert with a lot of fresh legs this season. As long as Quentin Johnson can do what he did, Keenan Allen can keep stepping up at his old age. And maybe some of these younger guys like, Keandre Lambert-Smith and Trey Harris come out of nowhere and continue to build on what this offense is trying to produce. I think at the end of the day, we're looking at a really good football team and probably a Super Bowl contender. Joe Alt at left tackle looked really good last week, man. He finally has learned to use that left hand. I'm super excited to watch them. Look, I think the Patriots being without Christian Gonzalez last week was a damper in their spirit for sure. I think they had a lot of their game plan was probably designed around him, and and I don't think anybody can stop Brock Bowers at this point in time. But dude, if they had him in the game, I just wonder how different it would have looked. Would that Dante Thornton catch really be a thing? Who knows? Does Geno Smith put up the 300+ yards like he did? I don't know. I think they're more forced to use the running game more often. But who knows, man? But this is not the game at home that you want to play off after the Chargers look so good in their matchup against the Chiefs. And those are the two teams you got to go against. And they're coming off being a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, the Chargers take this one for sure.